Right now, while you are watching this video, something strange is happening inside your head. Your brain is craving a specific chemical reaction so intensely that it is willing to spend more energy on it than on food or basic pleasures. And here is the most interesting part. You can trigger this reaction right now, literally in 3 seconds. No, it is not an illegal substance. It is something you do every single day without realizing how powerful its impact on your life really is. Scientists call it the cheapest legal stimulant on the planet. And today, I will show you how to hack this system and use it to your advantage. I am talking about music. But wait, do not close the video yet, because what I am about to explain has nothing to do with the usual "music makes you feel better" story. We're going much deeper than that. We're going inside your skull, into the areas of your brain that literally light up on an MRI when you hear a song you love. In 2011, neuroscientist Robert Zator from McGill University in Montreal made a discovery that shocked the scientific community. He put people into a brain scanner and played them music. And do you know what he saw? Increased blood flow to the nucleus accumbens, the exact brain area responsible for anticipating reward, the same area that becomes active when a person expects money, intense pleasure, or a forbidden substance. And yet, music, unlike all of that, gives you nothing material. It does not satisfy hunger, keep you warm, or help you reproduce. It is just organized noise, a pattern of sound waves at certain frequencies. And still, your brain reacts to it as if survival itself were at stake. Why? The answer lies in how your brain's reward system works. When you hear a familiar melody, something unusual happens. Your brain starts predicting which note will come next, and when that prediction turns out to be correct, boom, a burst of dopamine. You get rewarded simply for recognizing the pattern. But even more interesting things happen when those expectations are broken. A composer or a DJ introduces an unexpected chord, changes the rhythm, adds tension. Your brain experiences a brief shock, followed by an even stronger dopamine release when the music returns to something familiar. That is exactly why we love remixes. They give the brain two things at the same time: familiarity, because you recognize the melody, and novelty, because the pattern is slightly disrupted. Your brain feels smart because it recognizes what is happening, and excited because its expectations are carefully challenged. This is the perfect combination for the reward system. There is one more thing you already know from personal experience, but I want to explain how it works from a neuroscience perspective. Do you remember that song that instantly takes you back to a very specific moment in your past? A school hallway, your first trip to the sea, the room where you went through a breakup. It turns out this phenomenon even has a scientific name: music-evoked autobiographical memory. A 2009 study published in the journal Memory and Cognition found something striking. When people listened to music from a specific period of their lives, not only did their auditory brain areas activate, but so did the hippocampus, the center of memory, and the amygdala, the center of emotions. And the activation was so strong that the memories became more vivid and detailed than those triggered by any other type of stimulus. Why does this happen? The reason is that music is encoded in your brain in a very special way. When you experience an event while music is playing, your brain does not link the melody to facts alone. It binds it to an entire cocktail of emotions, smells, visual images, and bodily sensations. Think of it as a multi-layered archive, sealed inside a single audio file. This connection is so strong that it survives even when other types of memory begin to fade. Patients with Alzheimer's disease who no longer remember the names of their own children can still sing songs from their youth word for word. Musical memory is stored in separate, older brain structures, the ones that deteriorate last. Once you understand this, you can start using this feature of your brain intentionally. All it takes is creating separate playlists for specific mental states. Want to enter deep focus? Turn on the playlist that always played when you were in flow. After a few repetitions, your brain builds a strong association. This music equals focus mode. From that point on, simply pressing play can shift you into the right state within minutes. This technique is called anchoring, and professional athletes have been using it for years. Michael Phelps, for example, always listened to music before a race. He had a dedicated playlist that he used for psychological preparation before stepping onto the starting block. However, this musical superpower has a downside. The same mechanism that helps you enter resourceful states can also trap you. It is called a ruminative musical loop. This is when you get stuck replaying the same song over and over, especially a sad one, and cannot break out of it. A 2015 study from Durham University showed that when people in a depressed state listened to sad music, 55% of them did it intentionally in order to intensify their negative emotions. It sounds insane, right? Why make yourself feel worse when you already feel bad? The answer lies in the same dopamine system. When a person is depressed, the brain is not craving happiness as much as it craves predictability and control. Sad music provides exactly that. It organizes the inner chaos. Emotions that were vague and anxious take on structure, rhythm, and melody. The brain recognizes a familiar emotional pattern and receives a small but steady dopamine reward when expectations match reality. On top of that, sad music creates a sense of emotional resonance. It feels like someone understands you, and social understanding, even when it is imagined, also activates the reward system. The brain reads this as a reduction of threat and sends a signal of relief. And for the nervous system, that is already a step towards stabilization. So what happens is this: you receive a chemical reward for making yourself feel worse. And this is where moderation becomes critical. You can allow yourself 15 minutes to listen to sad music and cry it out. But if you do this without limits, your brain will keep strengthening the neural pathways that link this music to sadness. And each time, you sink deeper and deeper into the emotional pit. Now, let us return to the positive effects of music. In 2003, neuroscientist Gottfried Schlaug from Harvard Medical School compared the brains of professional musicians with those of people who had no connection to music. He found that musicians had a corpus callosum, the bundle of nerve fibers connecting the two hemispheres of the brain, that was about 15% larger. Their motor cortex was more developed, and their auditory areas were more sensitive. This suggests that music literally changes the physical structure of the brain. There was another study as well. In 2019, researchers from the University of Southern California discovered that children who studied music for just 2 years showed improvements in cognitive functions, especially working memory and attention. What is more, the effect persisted years after they stopped taking lessons. In simple terms, music improves memory, attention, motor skills, emotional intelligence, and even language abilities. Want a concrete life hack? There is a technique based on research in cognitive neuroscience. It is called musical working memory training. Choose an instrumental track of moderate complexity, ideally something with a clear structure, like classical music or jazz. Listen and try to track two things at the same time: the melodic line and the rhythmic structure. Try to predict how the melody will develop. Hold the previous musical fragment in your mind while listening to the next one. Do this for 15 minutes a day for a month, and you will notice changes not only in how you perceive music, but also in your overall ability to concentrate and retain information. Now I will give you a few practical tips that will help you get the maximum benefit from music. First, experiment with musical anchors. Drop the idea of one universal playlist and create several instead, each for a different state. Music works through rhythm. When the brain hears a rhythm, it tends to synchronize breathing, attention, and arousal to it. That is why a slow rhythm helps you focus, while a fast one helps you mobilize. If slow and fast tracks are mixed in the same playlist, the brain keeps resetting. It barely starts entering the desired mode, and then the rhythm suddenly changes. It has to recalibrate again. As a result, you do not go deep into either focus or activity. Second, use the switching rule. When you are stuck in a negative state, do not try to jump straight into the opposite one. Your brain will not buy it. Instead, create a smooth transition. If you feel sad, start with music that matches your current state, then gradually, track by track, move toward the state you want. Increase the tempo step by step, from slower to faster. Third, practice musical meditation. Set aside 10 minutes a day for full, conscious listening. Close your eyes, put on your headphones, and immerse yourself completely in the sound. Listen closely to how each instrument comes in, how the tempo, volume, and mood change. Notice every transition, every accent, every subtle detail. The effect is comparable to classical meditation. The brain learns to focus, stay in the moment, and fully experience each sensation. Music is not just entertainment. It is one of the most powerful tools for changing your brain, your emotions, and your life. But like any tool, it can either build or destroy. It all depends on how you use it. And if you are curious about why your brain needs boredom, or which everyday habits are linked to high IQ, watch these videos.